Yeah. This one's strange.
Well, JFJ, I think, has it right. Human rights lobby group JFJ, Jamaicans for Justice, they say it's time to review Jamaica's Education Act and the education regulations, saying that they're outdated and they do not include any meaningful protection for children from arbitrary, unreasonable, and discriminatory restrictions by schools. A JFJ spokesperson said on Sunday, they effectively leave this responsibility entirely to schools, which is why many of these rules vary so extremely across the country. Of course, the JFJ responding to a Supreme Court ruling that the rights of a 7-year-old girl were not breached when she was barred from attending the Kensington Primary School because she wears dreadlocks. The case, which was originally filed by attorneys at JFJ, argued that such practices unreasonably violate the rights of children. They, however, were never a named party or claimant in the lawsuit. The JFJ says since the court has not yet written a judgment on the issue, it can't comment on the specific legal issues determined. What did the Supreme Court rule? They ruled against the family.
Yeah. Does that suggest then, and it might even sound like a ridiculous question, but does that suggest that schools can turn their back if they just don't like a hairstyle?
That's exactly what JFJ is arguing, and what the folks who are in the space are arguing, that there needs to be a policy document. There needs to be a ministry policy document that does not give the school the autonomy to say, Neville has dreadlocks, so he can't come here. Clive has a mohawk, so he can't come here.
And the Education Act covers that?
It would, because the ministry would ostensibly have a position that would then guide all the schools as a matter of policy. Mm-hmm. So we wouldn't fall into situations like this where each school can decide what is good for them.
Yeah. It has to be something right across the board.
Of course, yeah. And this has been on the table for years.
Yeah,
I can't understand why we can't get there.
Did they not argue about this particular...
this case already?
Yeah, already?
Other cases before happened at other schools where... And then this dichotomy of, why it is that a black child can't grow his or her hair out, but a child who is Caucasian or maybe mixed can grow his or her hair out and come to school with the curls, and that's okay. So there's obviously, there's some issues at play here that need clarity. And I see the Prime Minister waiting on the weekend. Maybe it's time for, people to sit and look at a policy that guides the schools so that this does not happen. It's embarrassing.
And it's interesting that it came out on the Emancipation Weekend.
There are news agencies across the world that have taken it up, had it on their websites, in their papers on the weekend. And just the irony of Bob and Coffee and all these folks who are synonymous with Jamaica taking over the world, and we are still fighting about whether a little child can go to school because she has locks in her hair.
Madness. I would accept if it interferes with schoolwork, if it interferes with classroom time and nobody can stay quiet because there's a dreadlock in the class or the teacher can't concentrate or something.
But why would any of those things even be a thing?
This is ridiculous. Wow. This one even more ridiculous. 6 criminals killed. This happened over the weekend. The 6 reputed members of what the police are calling a very big and dangerous criminal network were killed in an alleged fierce fight with the security forces. This happened shortly after midnight on Saturday, and it says disrupting the Bushman gang's reign of terror in central Jamaica. Now, highly placed police sources on the ground said that the criminals had a vice-like grip on the community. And I quote one police officer, "One night we're down at the Maypen station and we hear sustained gunfire, rifle fire, for 1 hour and 5 minutes. The next day, there was not one single official report."
What?
He says gunfire for 1 hour and 5 minutes, and he says nobody reported it because the gang, they have such a grip on the community. No one could say anything about it. So 6 are gone. Unfortunately, 2 soldiers were hurt. One got grazed on the shin, I'm told, and one was hit in the helmet. But apparently, they're both okay. Wow. It says they described the gang, very big and dangerous gang, has been terrorizing Maypen for years. Whew.
So how many of the gang members were taken out?
6. One was called Hitler. One was called Terminator Boy. Aye. And one was 18 years old. 18 years old. Well, you live by the gun.
Okay.
Yeah. The next one?
COVID. Jamaica recorded two. When was this story published?
Yesterday.
Produced?
Last
Okay.
night. Yeah.
Recorded 2 COVID-related deaths. One of the deceased is a 64-year-old man from Clarendon. The other, a 73-year-old woman from St. Thomas. This has pushed to 12 the number of COVID deaths in Jamaica. Meanwhile, there were 11 more confirmed cases on the weekend, increasing the tally to 894. The health ministry said, however, there are 90 active cases and recoveries remain at 743.
I don't know if we said this on Friday when Sim and I worked, that maybe you guys think this is gone. Because I was watching our news and the parties that were on. There was one party that it seemed like they really and truly made an effort to get it right, and I think they probably did. But then you look at the beach, and there's 40 million people, no masks, everybody just everywhere, all around. I don't understand that. I don't understand that. This has not gone anywhere. And since we opened up the borders, the numbers have gone up. I mean, as you said, 11 last night, we were seeing 16 one night, 19 one night. Then we had a night, I think it was just 1 or 2, but the minister did say that if you open the borders, they expected a surge. So we have to be careful. It is not gone anywhere, folks. And again, if you're not too concerned about yourself, be concerned about your family members and your friends and the community, because they could shut us down again if it gets worse, as they have done in many states, in the States. Open it up and shut it right back down because people just not being responsible. So be safe, folks.
The concern now is schools and schools reopening.
Yeah.
You know, we just have to really get that right.
Some
because
parents,
children
which is, you know, they were asking me about football again, and I'm saying if we can't get school right, I don't know why we reach extracurricular yet, because the main thing is to get school right. The kids have to learn, and some of them have not been taught since March.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, some of these kids have not been taught since March. Well, official teaching, maybe at home, maybe the parents would have helped, but so many people don't have internet access. So we have to get that right first before we start talking.
And you have to take into consideration that kids get COVID, kids interact with parents, kids interact with grandparents. The possibility of children infecting, especially their grandparents, is, I mean, I've heard frightening stories of kids. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it, but we just have to get it right.
Yeah, we have to be careful.
All the protocols right.
Yeah.
And it's difficult, we're not saying nay, but we have to get it right.
Next one.
What is this? Jamaica 58 service held on the weekend. Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, Olivia Babsy-Grain, said Jamaicans at home and abroad have been resilient and strong in the fights to contain the COVID-19 pandemic. She said that her people's resilience is demonstrated by their ability to cope with stress and adversity and to bounce back to a previous state of normal functioning. We, without a doubt, she said, have been proving ourselves capable of measuring up to what is required in the face of the pandemic. We've done much better than many of the large countries in the world, she said, while urging Jamaicans not to hesitate to praise the Lord and to give thanks. She hailed the Prime Minister for, quote, leading the nation in a very powerful way to ensure that we can overcome. And then she noted that the restrictions put in place to contain the spread of COVID will not dampen our spirits and cannot stop us from celebrating our emancipation and independence anniversary with enthusiasm. I gather there's going to be a big event, another big virtual event to celebrate that.
Yeah.
So.
We got the wrap up, but just want to jump to the last one. Jamaicans in sync with Beyonce. Synchronized swimmer Nicole Chinsu and members of Portland's Island Aquatic Synchro Club, they said, added some Jamaican flavor to Beyonce's Mood Forever from the visual album Black is King.
Cool!
That is very cool.
Very cool.
Very, very cool.
Big up to you guys.
There you go. Beyonce has a Caribbean connection? Mm-mm. No, it's Rihanna is from
Jamaica.
Barbados. Jay-Z has a Caribbean connection?
As far as I know, them just love Jamaica. Them just love Jamaican culture.
Okay, there you go. And who is it? There's another star who's from Trinidad and Tobago. Nicki Minaj is from where? She's from Trinidad and Tobago?
Is Trinidad?
Is
I
it?
feel it's Trinidad.
I think so.
Can check for sure.
It is from Trinidad and Tobago. All right. Okay, folks, so that's it for the hot topics. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have news in 5. Stay with us, please. Soon come.